inhabited map. It's not usually by that large of a margin.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe a bit of a different approach coming into it. They will be starting off on the CT side, of course, as we rake into the pistol, firmly into things. It will be the contact B play. Flash over the top. Income 4. No kills as yet. Smoke towards market window, and that's going to be all she wrote. So just holding the extremities here for VP as the bomb goes down. The push is starting, though. And it's Buster. In from short. Spots the header one. Trying to go for the Ferrari peaks. He was ready for X5G, but couldn't get it done. Davkos, meanwhile, going to find Kicker, looking for a little bit more, and he will get it done. He and X5G are looking so damn good. Yekindar the only one left. Get us out of this one, then.
And not looking too happy. He is just currently holding off in the back of the apartments, hoping a kill or two will come his way. But of course, as you said, not able to do too much about actually winning this one, unfortunately. They'll snatch up the first frag, but it's the start that INDE IRAE really needed. And yeah, you were saying Davkos. I'm still trying to remember if he was the man we're talking about, because for some reason I feel like it was another Ukrainian who we haven't really seen much of since then that stood in that particular story you're speaking of. But I do remember Davkos absolutely smashing with the OPA points on train, if I remember correctly, having absolutely ridiculous performances. So we'll see what he does. But to me, although he was good for INDE IRAE during the qualifiers, the standout was X5, and then also Floween was playing a pretty fantastic game. I do believe Hurtfrisk is calf. I'm looking at GoTV. He seems to be muted right now, so I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that one. Oh, I need the command. You can't unmute them just by clicking on GoTV. All good.
You'll get there. You'll get there. It is a bit of a weird one, indeed, to work your way through. Force buy, of course, coming out here for VP. Similar to Na'Vi. Gotta be careful. Can't write them off. There's James. Ding dong, he says. Kindar coming through the smoke as well. Okay, 4-on-3 set up. X5 will take out James, but a lot more work to be done. Easier said than done in that sense. He will find another as Kindar maybe gets a little too frisky. Now back into the 3-on-3. Looks a bit easier once you've taken down that automatic weapon and that pesky little scout.
Oh, I done that wrong. Now all of their names are... There we go, I fixed it.
Right,
I was like, where did Daisy and everyone come from?
He's back.
We're all good now. I was really confused for a second. I was like, why is everyone muted now? But we've got a 3-on-3 that I was going to say could still really go either way with a bit of an A stack in place. Unfortunately, though, I think Quickard has been spotted. No, apparently not. It looked like the spam was being continued because I figured they had spotted him, but they're going to overlook it initially. But no, coming through, Hurtfrisk is going to go ahead and clear it out. INDE IRAE only dropping a couple of players there up against the Force by putting themselves in a pretty strong position where they shouldn't really struggle at all now in this round. Can maybe pull out a couple of SMGs as well to just try and build up that bank, make up for the 2 players that they did lose in the previous one. And, well, things are again looking decent here early on for INDE IRAE. While I don't think it'd affect VP massively if they were to lose this game. It could maybe make things, as we were saying, a little bit awkward for Gambit being in second place. Although losing this as well, I guess, would change things up about in terms of that second place, even between Gambit and VP potentially, looking at the round difference. And oh, what a shot by Yek in there. Almost missed that one as I was looking over at the previous game stats. That's Davkos gone early on. It was only the SMG, I believe, right? Should at least be recoverable by Railway.
Yeah, I think so. Still, they are just goon squadding around with this Deagle in the middle of the pack trying to catch them. Tech9 comes in, gonna find one. Will get dinked out. Long range battle goes the way of Railway, but certainly uncomfortable for a second. And well, the nade damage is huge, but James nearly taking him down. Still looking good. It's Yekindar with the Deagle, bro. He is ever present. Gotta watch out for him. Bomb plant's gonna come in towards A, however. Yekindar, he's grabbed an AK, and I think he'll be happy to take this out of here if the opportunity arises. Meanwhile, James on the hunt on the backside. 7 ready. I was gonna say Railway ready and waiting, but apparently not. Gets caught. It's only a Tech9 upgrade, but still the damage pretty big here from VP, considering the minimal investment.
Oh, X5 didn't quite spot, I don't think, or didn't spot it for long enough anyway to get the shot off there ahead of Jame. Yeah, VP are more than happy just to go ahead and steal an AK away from this one. A couple of pistols as well. Set themselves up in a strong position now coming into what is going to be the opening gun round. But again, strong start from INDE IRAE. X5 was definitely the standout player for me in the qualifier, as I mentioned before, and he's popping off already up at 5-0. It was kind of interchangeable then after that, honestly. Railway had his moments, even though I think looking at the stats, he's technically their lowest rated player. He was having some games where he was really going off, and then some where he was being a bit quieter. But again, with the likes of Hurt Frisk, with Davcost as well being there to help out X5, there's plenty of players who can show up. And in terms of the kind of newcomer teams, they're one of the ones that excite me. Straight onto the double op though, Scriv.
Yeah, very, very early out for VP, isn't it? Not pulling any punches at all. Oh, and you could see why. Nasty from Buster. Not expected on the crack angle, and again, that early opener. It's something that the massive teams, you know, the big teams at the high end, do very, very well. They will not miss the opportunities if you go walking into them. You need to be careful on your own going for the info-based plays. It's not like, you know, Hurtfrisk was wanting to hunt super deep and win the round in and of himself, but he will be kicking himself because of that kill going against him. Sanji as well, info play for him. He can go for that because they've already got one up. Dangerously. The timing works for Davcost there on the repeat. 4-on-3 then. Your Kindar tagged up ever so slightly, so don't write them off just yet. INDE IRAE working their way back into the round. Great jump spot for Jame, though, and the double scope to take it out. Info for Kicker as well. So all going to be down to Flowin. Take down Jame with a nice shot, to be fair to him, but a lot more work, of course, to be done in the 1v4.
And a round not going well for Flowin. You think the waterfall from Palace would work better for him with a name like that, right?
Yeah, I suppose. He's not even gonna humor it though, dude. Honestly.
Just might see it later on. He should be allowed to save at least. I do believe so. Unless he for some crazy reason decides to peek this. I've seen players do this while saving loads of times. Not usually in a position where they'll be punished, so thankfully he doesn't go for the gander in towards the spawn right there. Galildo all there, able to save over. Railway doesn't really have too much money there. He'll actually be dropped the rifle, I believe, thankfully. So it's an okay buy for sure that's coming out, and they do have a chance to try and fight right back into this, but VP have still got their double op setup, and this time now they've got a ton of utility behind it, which they didn't have in that previous round. So the pressure won't really be on them as much in the early moments either to necessarily find that opening kill. They can definitely ease off on it a little bit. Or they could keep it up if they want to as well. Unpredictable, of course.
Yeah, keep them on their toes, you know, the usual business. Yeah, VP a little bit more convincing to do in terms of the dominant first half, right? There's a lot to prove here on the INDE IRAE side, and I think that certainly strikes through in these early rounds. Awkward little fight in towards window. Your Kindar's going to win it, though. Nade as well to follow up, so nice damage coming in from him. He will be left low, but he's done an awful lot in this early portion.
Yeah, as you said, is relatively low, but he's just going to, I think, fall into the back of the bomb site here. Considering they have two players in the spawn, they're playing for the retake. He'll be just pretty much a player who can be baited for to try and catch a couple off guard. X5 has got himself one back in towards middle, but it wasn't the cleanest of kills ever. Hurt Frisk also being slightly tagged up. It's a pretty difficult position, I've got to say, overall for INDE IRAE to make work. They will move quickly on towards A, though. As I said, the two players back towards the spawn. Now only one. It is James still on the op who's going to peek up off a ticket boot. Flowin wasn't ready from Palace. And by the time he does peek in, already that player's dropped back down into cover. And again, they've still got Yek in there hiding in the back of the bomb site. Will they clear it out is the question. If they do, then they should have control of A. And indeed, Flowin checks it. They had already got rid of the op back towards the spawn. The rotation hadn't even begun from short. As X5 should be in a decent position to try and hold it off. But no, he's actually taken out quickly by Kicker. So maybe there's a shot at least at the retake now. But they don't have a kit.
Yeah, that's kind of the key thing. I don't think there's one dropped in on the site either, Dean. So time is working against them here as they do have smokes, or a smoke rather, and a Molotov to work with. Goes to the palace, though. That's the wrong area. Kicker, though, going to find the first in this exchange. Tap onto the bomb, and Buster takes him down. Is there enough time? I think it's going to be close, but I think there is just about enough time here for the defuse of Kicker. It's a bit close. It's a bit close. They'll manage to save the double orbs as well there on the VP side of things. And there you have it. You know, the retake, man. That's a rarity from VP. Am I right? You know, when there's 2 orbs to be saved, you'd figure maybe they'd go for that. But they got a nice early kill, and it set them up very well.
Indeed, it was a risky one for sure. But when you're down 3-1, when you're on your CT side here as well, you don't really want to be giving that round away. So it's completely understandable that they wanted to move in for the retake. And thankfully, as you said, do manage to pull it off. Back onto pistols. It's Kevlar at least behind those pistols. But already with Yekin there picking up an opening kill in towards middle, it's really not the start that INDE IRAE would have hoped for. The goal, I think, was to try and maybe catch a player around connector. They were moving pretty quickly in that direction. But now just going to force it back and... well, with no nades either to actually make any sort of an execute even happen. They had invested pretty heavily in towards the Kevlar and the pistols, as you can see, just don't have the utility behind it. So actually now getting onto one of these bomb sites or actually making what they've invested work for damage is going to be pretty difficult to do. So a lot of nades have been used by VP already as well. So at the very least there, I guess, forcing reinvestment in that department into the next round out of VP, even if they don't get too many kills.
Yeah, I suppose I'm trying to find silver linings, but they'd probably do that anyway. You got to treat it as any other round, really. Quick boost towards window. Going to try and send him in late by the looks of things. Catch the distraction of these players in on the site itself. But Yekindar... oh, I was going to say he is not thwarted. However, my guy hurt with the quick double dink. See you later. James still alive, though, of course. Will get clapped out by the Deagle of Davkos. Getting a bit interesting here. X5 in towards short. Could find his kill as well if he plays his cards right. Meanwhile, the bomb is being planted on the other side. Kicker falls. And whether he gets the kills or not, X5 is keeping them at bay, creating space for his teammates to get into a decent post plant. And INDE IRAE, not a chance. Surely not. As they set up a 3-on-2 that looks very good for them. Sanji will find the first on the retake here, though. It doesn't look like they're going for it. This is where we have a little bit more game time. Big man Buster taking the AWP into the next round. Unbelievable.
Sanji's going to lose his life, though. So only Buster going to save over the AWP, unfortunately. Ooh, he actually will end up getting himself another kill in the end as well. That was a nasty shot in towards the spawn, though, from Hurt Frisk. Looked satisfying, probably felt it as well. Wallbang. It's 4-2 now. Traded back on. This is kind of the worst case scenario right now, unfortunately, for VP. They have just about enough, obviously, with the saved over up and some dropped rifles going, some dropped weapons, rather, being kind of worked around to get a relatively decent buy. And if they do manage to win this, of course, then the economy's back in the gutter at that point for INDE IRAE. But if they lose it, INDE IRAE on track for 6 and even more. And as I'd mentioned, VP tend to win over 60% of their rounds here on the CT side. So they do definitely need to pick it up. And there you go, James. He's going to get it done with the op. They didn't have the secondary op this time either, so the pressure was on for him to try and work that early pick. And he will indeed be successful. I believe has been given plenty of room indeed to fall back off already. He's actually giant back up with Kickard, and they look to push ramp now as well. Flowing's alone here, so this is another player they can isolate.
That's what they're trying to do. Contacting in, M4 clearing the angles, and then the AWP maybe to find the trade. Yekindar, meanwhile, over towards middle, goes for a wide swing, gets a frag. The AWP thwarted. But the 5-on-3 is still looking pretty good, right? They don't need to overstretch on ramp now. Buster gets given an opportunity onto Railway, and he will take it cleanly. Trying to catch where that happened. Maybe in the apartments, I suppose? That's the way it looks. Nonetheless, 5-on-2, VP straight back to it.
Yeah, Kicker just playing on the ladder here. Bit dangerous. Imagine... I'm just trying to imagine how this would look in real life right now. He's just sliding his back up and down the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty impressed. I reckon there's some acrobat experts that can go up and down a ladder with just their legs, you know?
Just legs backwards, so kind of sideways even.
But probably not that many general issue soldiers.
True. There's probably other things you need to focus your training on.
Yeah.
Flowing and Hurtfrisk, though, they will be able to save over. We weren't in super serious mode because the players weren't either. They were in super save mode. Fortunately, though, even saving those weapons isn't really going to give them a great buy. They have to, or at least they will go for it because Railway and Davkos, they're double eco. So they'll pull whatever they can possibly into this when you can see Hurtfrisk is able to drop over one weapon at least. So they've got a couple of rifles behind that up. So it's not the worst buy I've ever seen. But the situation is again just kind of flipped on its head, where suddenly now it's VP who have the opportunity where if they take this round, they're going to just propel themselves into the lead. And a moment ago, it looked like INDE IRAE were going to be the ones to do so.
Yep. It's a little all over the place as it has been with some of these best of ones, especially when, you know, teams are playing teams that they're not as familiar with. I think VP relying on their own game, probably doing a little bit of prep into this one, but they've just had Gambit prep into that big style. Then you've got to work your way forwards against your Na'Vis and your Entropics and your Spirits once the groups merge. So a team like INDE IRAE, the spooky little pistol rounds they like to pull out every now and then, that kind of thing might get looked over, I think it's safe to say.
After losing a player and taking some damage, it looks like they've been kind of intimidated over towards the B side of things. Cancelling that out, there's a player in jungle, right? You're going mad? No, indeed, that is X5 in jungle right now. Unfortunately, his teammate moving back quickly towards A. Still have to deal with the players on the bomb site, I was going to say, so I wasn't sure how much he was really going to get to do, but suddenly Flowing has got himself one kill. You've got in towards the spawn now, Kickered, in towards Connector, it's going to be Buster. No one's actually watching Connector, I don't think. Should hopefully be held as he walks out, but no, Buster able to get the kill. He doesn't stop the bomb plant. Puts the advantage back in favor of VP, and again, with Hurtfrisk already low, this is still going to be a tough after plant to hold off. X5 finds the crucial kill, at least towards the murder hole, retrieving an AK for himself. But again, they are outnumbered. The numbers just, they can't manage to pull them in their favor at the moment. I do believe planted on the opposite side of default as well. No smoke actually to put down on it, so the fights pretty much have to be taken. No. And well, they're happy to do so. INDE IRAE just out in the open. Hurtfrisk gets swung on ramp despite having the up and the bomb pretty much planted for him. And JM, realizing he just doesn't have the time anymore, is trying to back away with the up at this point. I think was even trying to see if he could get one of the kills. He should be fine if he died. Indeed, survives on 34. But both of the T players are able to make it away also. And again, just back and forth. Neither team is really able to get true control. Just constantly trading these rounds between each other.
Yeah, will be kicking themselves massively, especially Kicker. I think he should have gone for the nade. That's what he was going to do, but got possessed by the swinging demon. And it cost them the round, you know, an easy little right click to get over the top. Maybe a left click off a wall, something like that would have found him the kill. VP with the pause, though, I think they know that they should have... Well, I don't know, maybe. It does exist.
No, I liked it. That's my stripper name. But emphasis on the D part because it represents my name. Instead of D-man, it's like D-man. Swinging D-man. Okay. Yeah, that's my stripper name now.
That sounds like, you know, maybe a name taken by D-man himself.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. I don't want to refer to myself as a demon, though, but just because that seems a bit...
It's a little...
scary, you know?
Yeah, it is a little aggressive.
It's not what you go to those establishments for, so...
No, generally not. Generally not. Well, yeah, it could be a slightly specialized version of one of those establishments, maybe.
Still no ecos, though. Are we ever going to see an eco? I don't think so. Unless VP maybe finally...
Yeah, it's so weird as well. Your Kindar's got 1,700 in the bank. Just like drop. If you're going for it, drop an MP9 or whatever.
Yeah. Or even an extra couple of nades could have been useful there. Maybe even the second kit. It's definitely a surprising one. I didn't realize he had so much money left over. But look at this so far. VP have had pretty much free reign there. They were peeking under for a while. Haven't really been challenged on mid. I think there was an early nade maybe that came in. But overall, INDE IRAE fully focused on what is going to be the A push. But X5, he's got the ramp aggression. Yekindar started it off on a decent note, but the trades were available. And now it's JM who's got to step up big time. He's already got himself the first. And That actually seems to have intimidated the rest of the players to an extent that they are going to just go ahead and cancel for now. And understandably so, they've still got 50 seconds. They really don't have to rush this, especially as Railway's walked onto the B bomb site. And he's just about got the bomb back across, I believe, without being spotted. But no, look at the flanker. This is horrible. There's no way he can get back over to his teammate.
Oh my goodness, this is all over. We're going to see him try and cut off the rotations at the very least. Buster will hear all the info. Railway goes down as James. Too smart for you, my guy. And there's Buster with a double spray down as they walk round in towards middle. They could have got through towards B, but they didn't want to go for it. And VP, they will find themselves round number 4. Again, kind of against the odds. And maybe this is part of it as well. INDE IRAE perhaps expecting an eco in that round, but of course it was anything but.
Apologies, noticed the title wasn't updated, so just got it fixed up there for everyone.
Here he is, yeah.
So we know what's up. We don't want people missing out on this matchup, not knowing that it's going on. But it should be straightforward now. Quite the eco, as you were saying, coming through. It's a nice little collateral even for James at one stage. Not a single casualty, although it does get close in a couple of cases. Unfortunate for INDE IRAE that they weren't able to get those 1 or 2 finishes just to output the slight bit of damage at least and force a couple of rebuys. But either way, it's still only 5-5. And as we said, VP tend to win the vast majority of their rounds here on the CT side. So if INDE IRAE can get up towards 7, I think at that stage they'll be feeling pretty good. And with how the grind has looked so far, it's definitely a plausible scoreline.
Run boost coming in towards middle. Not really able to find anything off the back of it, though. A really, really key round, it feels like. You know, you have to bear in mind here, of course, that INDE IRAE, they converted the pistol fully. So, yes, it's 5-5, but with the rifles, VP have been the ones finding the most success. So, INDE IRAE, see what they can get done. X5 going to eat an awful lot of damage early on, Dean. But so far, really, really slow round. Just hoping somebody overfaces. Heavy mid stack for VP. And the mid presence for INDE IRAE is starting to pick up here as well.
In the move for it anyway. Railway has actually already found himself an open and not quite sure where that went down. In towards Connector, actually, as he came out of under it was. Looks like Kickard wants to also try and follow it up pretty quickly, seeing if the trades are going to be available, as also in the meantime, a small bit of pressure being put onto the P apartments. It's actually kept 2 of those players busy, so I was going to say if they could move quickly, if they could trade out onto Buster, then A may have been the weak bomb site, but unfortunately they can't do anything. Buster gets himself the triple actually in on mid. He kept control of the bomb with that, and it's only really the lurker now of Flowing that's left standing. With not really too much hope, I've got to say. The time working against him, he doesn't got the greatest of weaponry either with only a Galil, and well, he unfortunately peeks right into the crosshair of James, who isn't going to miss the shot. He's having a good performance so far, 12-5. Yekindar also popping off, Buster having his moments. Kickard and Sanji, they're chilling, but they'll join eventually.
That's what they do. They do just be chilling. You know, MP9 expert Sanji. James and Yekindar popping off there. That's exactly what you want, isn't it? You know what I mean? James is your CT side. Yekindar is your T side. If they're both already looking good, then you're in for a good ride. However, Railway, despite him being off on the off angle, will take down James. Now, that opens the round up a little bit. Definitely gives him the mid control, and it makes things scary, but you've still got Yekindar to deal with. You've still got an awful lot of pressure coming in from short as well. Triple kill for Sanji. Thank you very much. Clean up the canvas once you're done, and I will see you in the next round. Massive stuff from Sanji to hold on, as it did look a bit dicey for a sec.
Yeah, I mean, Railway had initially put them on track for maybe some damage. Fortunately, couldn't quite capitalize on it. Even 1 more kill would have made it kind of worthwhile. You can see there's enough there still, unfortunately, for kind of 2 buys on the CT side. If they had taken away another player, maybe an extra drop comes in. And at that point, then maybe it would have been just the 1 left in the reserve. Instead, INDE IRAE, if they want to be coming out with the strong T side, kind of need to take these next 2, and then would probably have the 8th even relatively easily. So we'll see how that plays out for them. That's going to be the goal, of course, not meaning it's going to happen. VP are going to want to do everything they can to stop it. And, well, Jame already has found himself an open and just peeking in off the top of the stairs. It doesn't look like he wants to stop either. Eventually he is forced to do so as the flash comes over. Not really needing to give anything away anymore as they sit with the man advantage, and they seem to have a pretty good idea that most of this attention was around A for INDE IRAE.
Yeah, definitely figuring that one out early by the looks of things. INDE IRAE again caught out. Intimidated, I think that's a term you've used quite a lot, and it does fit. Especially in this round, as they are back to the drawing board. Where go now? What do? We've just got a bit of contact play coming in from Davcost. Smokes will come over the top. They will act upon them, so they're just going to go for a default A hit with the CT being open, but the counter flashes are in. They are solid. Going through smokes is not the move, guys. And wow, they have just been absolutely rolled over. 1 kill for Davcost. That is all. VP well into the swing of things here as we close out this first half.
Yeah, for a while it was honestly looking really scary for them, but yeah, they've kind of just got going now. Once they finally managed to break that bank of INDE IRAE, it's just been a little bit too much for them to handle, unfortunately. And, well, VP have got tons of money in the reserve now, so they're fine for the rest of this half for these last couple of rounds. They have more than enough to buy into this next if needed. Surprisingly, didn't even bother upgrading towards the secondary op. I guess it wasn't working for them all that much in the early gun rounds. They'd end up swapping off it and finding more success. James been doing plenty on his own and is going to continue to do so. Catches Frisk, I think, trying to make his way down towards the window. He might have even wanted to jump up on towards the window itself off of the bench. Surprisingly, Buster's going to continue to aggress here, just as they traded out weapons as well. So it is going to be the Galil holding for the push, but it doesn't matter. Buster hits an instant headshot. Yekindar had his under the entire time, but there's no one coming from there, so it's full mid-control for the CT side, and Buster just keeps on going. He's got the bomb now. I don't know how easy it's going to be rather for him to stick around and hold onto it. I don't know if he'll be able to have anyone join him to hold it either. It could definitely at this point, I think, be worthwhile just kind of giving that up and keeping the 5-on-3. It seems like at least they are going to pull all of those CTs back in towards middle, realizing that INDE IRAE, of course, are going to have to work back towards the bomb together.
Nice find from Flowin. 4-on-2 still. Kicker is more than happy to let them have the bomb back, though. As they're still up a creek with no real ideas here. In comes the peak. In comes the AWP game. We'll go for a re-peak on the P250. Are you kidding? The ball's on this guy to go for a move like that. Love to see it. Nonetheless, 9-5 as we now come to the tail end. The very final round of this first half, of course. And the buy once again from INDE IRAE will be lacking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a MAC-10 in there. A couple MAC-10s, actually. Didn't realize Frisk was on one as well. But overall, I mean, it could be worse. At least they've got an op to work with. Even if it is glass cannon, they've got a couple AKs there as well. Even if X5 is lacking his helmet. We've seen worse investments for sure. Definitely seen rounds with less managed to pay off for the Forcing teams. But it's rough because even if they get this 6th round, it's really not what they were looking for initially with such a strong start. And then it's not going to be an easy one to find. They are just moving straight in towards B, dropping into the crossfire. Finds that initial kill without really much resistance.
What?
Buster went straight down. Sanji somehow gets away with 2 kills from the back of the bomb site. Jame over the smoke there as he snatches the man jumping out of app, suddenly leaves it in a 1-on-1. And I don't think they know quite where Kickard is. Yeah, Flowing indeed going to be caught off guard. Kickard sneaking around the bomb site. Seals the 10-5 half for VP with 1 quick bullet to the skull. We'll find out whether INDE IRAE can start to pull it back or not after this halftime break, guys. All right, everyone, welcome back. And it's been a struggle for IRAE for sure. Such a promising start. They were actually able to get themselves at one point even a 3-0 lead. Then it was a 4-2 as it looked like they were going to manage to break VP, and they kept it back and forth all the way up until it was 6-3. And since then, or not 6-3, 5-3. And since then, it's just been missing. It was all VP. They were able to come back 7 in a row. And if they can get this pistol now, then I think IRAE are really going to struggle to get anything going at all.
100% agree. The push coming in, though, very quickly indeed. Flowing going to find a couple here from this pesky angle, of course, on the ticket booth. Will therefore be a 4 versus 3. There's still utility remaining for VP to break into the A-bomb site at the very least, but holding on and keeping the retake out of their hair is not going to be easy. We've got a late rotation coming in from Davkos, though, that might just give it away. The spam is nearly there for X5. It comes so damn close. Yakinda left on 7 HP. So Buster, the man with the P250, got a lot of heavy lifting. Nice little flash to gain 1 frag. But we need a lot more than that, of course. There it is, Buster with the 1-tap. 2 players, though, to deal with at once, and he's not going to get it done. Meanwhile, Yakinda is on the long flank. I think he will just about have time as they're tapping the bomb and whatnot, but he's left insanely low and can't really afford to miss. Oh, he's taking his time here. It's not going to get checked. However, he has now been seen, and the hold coming in, I think, would have been difficult for him to find it, even if he got that first kill. But he didn't, so we don't know. 3K from Florian, Davkos getting the others, the full house from those 2 players to get INDE IRAE the pistol.
Yeah, fantastic work. Both have been, well, everyone's kind of just been a little quiet, I suppose, for INDE IRAE so far. X5 had that strong early start, going like 5-0, but then he slowed down massively as well. So it's just been an overall struggle. So to get Florian and Davkos showing a strong pistol is exactly what they needed. And I was going to say, we are actually getting the hero rifle coming out, kind of similar to the approach that Navi took in their game up against Takuma. But it's not going to go too well for Yakinda. He's already gone ahead and lost his life. Was initially, I believe, tagged up by the scout, or by, it might have been the rifle first, sorry, and then the scout that got the finish on him with the 1 shot. Although it will be recovered by James, of course, he does have Kevlar, so the AK is still going to be there for use. 1 or 2 kills out of it, 2 preferably, at least to really make it worthwhile. Of course, a round win would also be a fantastic find. But I think sometimes you set your... You need to set your expectations a bit more realistically, rather, especially with a poor start into the round. But a very slow default as well, considering what they're working with. Just kind of split across the map.
Interessant, isn't it, as the French would say. No points for guessing.
Forget all my French.
Well, you could.
I know what that means. Yeah, but I'm just saying I do forget all of my French. When in school, though, my French was better than my Irish. So,
well, there you go. One's a useful language, and the other one's French. God, either way, moving in. Things looking good here for INDE IRAE as the damage keeps coming in. Kicker, ooh, nearly getting the peak out there, but there's just too many bodies to deal with at this point. They'll be lucky to get 1, and even that is fleeting at this point. James, the only one left with this AK. Sanji, unfortunately, his expense into this round will be thwarted. James is going to save, though, of course. The only thing that he knows how to do better than anybody else in the game is, of course, save. When in doubt, save it out. And that's exactly what he will do with this AK.
Yeah, James so good that he could save an arcade machine and come back to it later.
Hell yeah.
Genuinely. He'd save anything.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done that, to be fair. That's where it must have started. He cracked the code, you know, to save on Pac-Man. And then...
Ooh, is he going to get a helmet? Wait, what's his armor? He would have had to spend the full... it's not worth it. He had to spend the full 1,000. Yeah. Definitely not worth it. Although every weapon he's against, apart from the scout, is affected by him not having a helmet. So that'll be happy for the CT side. But a strong opening. It works out for Yakin there this time. He swings on mid, takes himself the frag onto railway, and removes the MP9 from play. I think they were expecting a bit of an easier time in this one.
Yeah, maybe, dude. And now things have become a little frightening, haven't they? Maybe expecting the eco to come out, but it's not the case. They've gone for the spend. I don't know. Yakinda with another, man. We're just getting the kills across. We've got the aggression here from Florian, but that gets thwarted as well. 5-on-2, just like that. When the rifles are in play, VP straight back to the regularly scheduled programming, as they are just rolling over the CT side right now.
I believe X5 is just backing away over towards B as well, so he won't really be getting to do much about that A push that's coming in. We'll likely let them save the 2 weapons at the very least, unless Sanji comes in with that Tech 9 and snatches them up. We'll see how that goes. He likely will hunt. He doesn't have tons to lose. But a good round from VP. A horrible one for INDE IRAE, losing out the first gun round in such a decisive fashion, especially with it being almost a necessity for them to win it out if they wanted to really get that comeback going and to start believing it won't be over. It's not like they're going to be completely down and out, especially if they can save both of these weapons. Then they'll be able to get the drops into both Railway and Flowy, and Davkos can just about buy for himself as well. So they'll just about manage to buy. But if they lose out the next one, VP up towards 12, up to a 13th, most likely off the back of INDE IRAE having to have taken an eco at that point as well, so that won't really leave too many more gun rounds for INDE IRAE to really have there on their CT side. So you do ideally now want to manage to actually pull this one off. And as I said, it'll be decent. Of course, they even actually get the glass cannon up, rather, so a little bit better than I expected.
All right. INDE IRAE looking to hold off then as things are going south real fast. Looks like we're seeing a bit of a repeat as to what we got on Overpass, you know, if you were here for that, the Na'Vi game. As soon as they worked into that second half onto the CT side, Na'Vi were unstoppable. Right now, VP doing the same thing, but on the T side. Very curious to see what INDE IRAE have got in the back pocket at the moment. Glass Cannon Davkos. Gonna have to pop off. That's kind of the biggest thing that they've got here. Other than that, it's fairly conventional buys. We'll see some smokes come over the top here in towards window and the CT side of connector. But VP really not showing their hand as yet.
For now, just hanging back. Already having Sanji deep in connector as well, so the split is going to be very difficult to deal with, especially as Yekindar catches the window player. He's going to be ready now to cut off rotations, meaning the pressure is just going to be on even more so towards Flowing on the bomb site, and Davkos in the spawn, who has, while blinded, actually managed to pick up a decent opening right there. Fortunately, his teammate on the bomb site not going to be having the same success, going down pretty much straight away, but they have delayed a bit, so now there's a flank that may even catch the bomb carrier. We'll have to see whether this works out for Hurtfrisk. Indeed it does. The bomb dropped in the open. Yakindar's been windowed this entire time. He just hasn't had a chance to come in and help out his teammates. And suddenly he's left all alone to try and make a clutch happen.
We'll see if there's anyone on this team that can do it. It's certainly this guy. Not going to happen, though. Hurtfrisk gets the well-timed peek from behind. So, INDE IRAE, in what you would say is probably the best time to do it, managed to get around on the board finally here on the CT side, right? So really working towards it, and they will get their just desserts, as it were. So we'll see now, moving forwards, whether they can keep it going. That's kind of the key question. VP will have money to buy up just about. It's rough, it's not pretty, but they've got something together, and of course we've seen them find great success with rounds like this in the past, so we'll see whether that continues for them.
A bit of a slower one. This time, most of the focus towards B. Haven't really been challenged much on their mid control either, so they've been able to, most of the time, get at least one lurker in towards this position pretty much uncontested, so I'm surprised they haven't used it more, but happy enough to just go straight in for the B split at this point, but they have no idea. Because of that window smoke that was down, X5 hadn't peeked through at all, hadn't been able to confirm that there was a player moving through. Yekindar catches them completely off guard, and it's just a massive distraction right there as the push came in. It's still somehow brought into a 2-on-2 for INDE IRAE, but eventually flipped in their favor now with only James left standing. He's only got a deagle as well. He's not got the weaponry really to pull it off as X5 just sprays him down. We're 2 rounds now in the difference. And this is getting a lot closer than it was looking to be at the halftime.
All the way down to the wire, it looks like, Dino. This is, again, what we came for. We want these underdog stories. You have the timeout coming through here. Is for that VP side of things, of course. I respect this, actually. I do respect this. They are still, for me, a bit of a clear favorite, right? But a lot more work to be done when it comes to figuring out what the issues are, where to go from here, etc., etc. And I think right now they're really in a difficult spot in the IRAE. You know, there's the potential here. I think they can actually close the gap.
I mean, they already have kind of closed the gap, not completely, but it's much narrower than it was at the half time. Birds, they were struggled. We got them out eventually. But it should be indeed a 10th round. They should be double digits now before we really see them being challenged again. Emphasis, I suppose, needs to be put on the word should there, because we're just about to see probably the P250s of all weapons pop off to win the round for them, just to make me look crazy. Not even the Deagles, because you could expect that a little bit more. But we'll see. So far, looking pretty smooth for X5 anyway. Molly down in Palace as well, actually kind of keeping them at bay. They were hoping to just pile out and see if they could get this bomb planted, but kind of being separated by the Molotov, it really did just ruin the plan. And now just being kind of spammed down on their Buster brought the half health already, a smoke replenished, and yeah, things just aren't working out as VP had imagined.
Well, I mean, look, you have minimal expectations for them coming into this round, and they probably have that for themselves, so we'll see what the pickup is and whether, you know, they can overwhelm the B-bomb side. That's what they're going for here. Sanji on the distraction over at B. Over at A, sorry. Meanwhile, the main attack coming in towards B. So he's going to try and find the timing to draw attention away. Still easier said than done, isn't it? Or is he just going to try and cut off the rotations? It depends on the way that they want to play it. Railway, though, is in the perfect spot to deal. Does need to be careful he doesn't go too far. I think hiding away is probably the move. 20 seconds left, though. To me, speaks to, yeah, the noise being made. Sanji will go down. Railway, good for one. He's dinked out pretty early on into the exchanges, but it looks good. He is covered out by Hurt Frisk, and that indeed will be the round. Just the one kill. Always nice in a round like that, but nonetheless, INDE IRAE, they bring it within one. This is really, really heating up now. VP, they need to find this round.
I told you that INDE IRAE did have a nice little variety of what they can bring, though. Railway's really struggling. From what I recall during the qualifiers, I think he had a lot of strong Dust 2s, so maybe he's just a really good Dust 2 player. But this unfortunately hasn't been his game. If he can give a little bit extra, if he can get that extra little bit of a push here on the CT side as well now, if everyone else keeps it up, then this really will be scary for VP. Never mind. 2 seconds into the round, from onwards at least, from when I say it could be scary for VP, and suddenly they have a 3-man advantage. Yekin there with 2 openings, Kickered in towards mid had taken himself one as well, and suddenly it's all on Hurt Frisk and X5. Probably 2 of the strongest players, but I think the clutch is probably still too much to ask of them, although one back from Hurt Frisk already, and he seems to have a small idea that there might be still a player tucked in on the top right, as he did position himself there on the left side of window to watch across for it. Finally, though, is forced to give up on it, needs to try and move back around towards B, where already they've unfortunately lost the sight. So I think he'll even just give up at this stage and go ahead and join his teammate for what is looking to be a save in Palace. They have a nice little Palace, at least, to save in.
Yeah, at least they have that.
Being optimistic now for one, Scriv.
Yeah, you know, you gotta change it up from time to time. There you go.
It is beautiful, to be fair.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Cost mad rent here in Ireland that would have if you were to try and rent even like a... They'd section it off in the 4-room.
You're telling me.
Mad money.
yeah. You ever been to this London town place? Cost me like one of my legs for a sink, you know?
For just a sink. Damn.
Yeah, probably.
Don't bring Wolfie over because he loves throwing the kitchen sink at people. His favourite sayings.
He is a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
It's a good saying. It's a good saying.
It is a good saying.
And you know what?
Well there to make a joke off it, so thank you.
Yeah, well, there you are. It's probably what INDE IRAE need to do. I don't know if he's tuning in, of course, on the analyst desk at the moment. But yeah, probably need to grab a couple kitchen sinks, and throw one at themselves to get them back into it, you know, wake themselves up, and one, of course, at VP to find their way in. Now, the phrase itself speaks to going for desperate plays. I don't know if that's what INDE IRAE are going to want to do, but something aggressive, something hard to follow certainly could be the move, and that's what they're trying to do towards middle, but unfortunately no opportunity presenting itself.
Again, a relatively quick round from VP in terms of where they actually want to move towards. Been, I guess, one of the main things. Even though they're defaulting a lot, it seems like they usually have a really good idea where they want to take it. They're not playing too much off of the picks. Instead, they brute force the picks where they want them, and right now that's towards this A bomb site. Flowing good for one at least from the spawn, but of course he was the last man left around A, so at this stage the hope is get another couple of kills and hope to set up for what will have to be a very strong retake. And unfortunately for Hurtfrisk, he's going to be forced out by that molly into the open just as the smoke faded away. Maybe Railway can do something. He might actually stop the bomb plant. Indeed, James misses the shot, but Buster's ready from Palace. And now with the bomb out in that position, they do, I believe, know where Flowing's at, so they should be able to just plant it pretty securely. They knew he was in the spawn anyway, although at this point could have wrapped around towards jungle to try and join up with his teammate. So they were being somewhat cautious. They've confirmed his position again, and honestly, I feel like it's probably going to have to just be another save, unfortunately, here for Flowing. It won't be enough, though, to give them a buy, of course. They'll still be looking at the eco. So most likely, we're going to have a 14-10 scoreline here. And INDE IRAE are going to have their backs against the wall.
Difficult, man. This is where the experience comes in. VP are able to dig deep when it gets a bit dicey, when it gets a bit difficult. It was looking like INDE IRAE were going to close the gap, but unfortunately, they've been denied such a chance. Did for a second, didn't they? You know, it was within one round. I guess they did technically close it, but they couldn't seal it. They couldn't get into the lead. And since the early game, they've not really been anywhere near the lead, in fact. So, a frightening time right now for the CT side. This round, not expecting too much, although stranger things have happened across the course of the day. I don't really think they'll be able to find too much. X5 playing with fire, just jump spotting away. Sanji will keep trying to tap at him and does take some damage, but not able to find the kill. This pesky MP9 just keeps jumping. He's mocking me.
Yeah, just leave him. You don't need to mess with the MP9, to be honest. We've seen already what can happen in rounds like this. Just because you have the better weapons doesn't mean it's set in stone. For now, I think are happy enough to just slowly move in for that mid control. Out through under, surprisingly. Normally when you know you have such a weapon advantage, you'll be happy enough to just kind of charge out the top of mid with a player or two, maybe send the couple towards under as well, just to make sure that a sole player wouldn't get caught off guard alone by any potential aggression. But no, not in this case. Instead, setting up for the split. So two players out under, rather in towards connector. And they are going to walk into a bit of a stack, unfortunately. There's some pistols here to hold. The MP9, unfortunately, only now on the way over, but moving quickly from short. He actually manages to catch Yekin there. Hurtfrisk is going to find Buster elsewhere. Now they've got Sanji still pinned in connector, and MP9 Dink is going to bring him down to 27. Gets the finish in the end as well, and suddenly it's a 2-on-2. James is doing what he can to recover it, but alongside Kickard, he is low. Flowing is the only healthy man left standing, Scriv.
Yeah,
He's not got a weapon.
Just take a sec, guys. Just take a sec. You know, just reel in from that one. But we'll see here. What a find from James. Filthy stuff. Now just Flowing, the only one left, like you say, that is in a position of health. He's going to try his best, but he can't get it done as Kicker will take him down. Goodness me. VP, I think, still got to be kicking themselves after a round like that. But at the very least, they get it over the line. Just. I mean, yeah.
It's a close one.
Really don't think that they necessarily deserve that round, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, INDE IRAE, considering what they brought in, as you were saying, yeah, they brought it incredibly close. If Flowing had been in a position to recover one of those dropped weapons even, and they could have slowed it down and just tried to play the 2-on-2 together, rather than X5 being kind of forced to take the fights on the MP9, then perhaps it could have went the other way, but still pretty decent success considering what they went into the round with. And if they can go ahead and actually punish VP now, then the economy could be slightly rough coming into the next round. It wouldn't completely break them. But one more on top of it then suddenly would put INDE IRAE up towards 13, and we'd have the comeback happening. So you can see the road forward. James, though, he's trying to get this trade back, and he will find that Railway has actually stuck around up close on the angle, somewhat surprisingly. I guess they didn't have anyone watching his mid. It's unfortunate because they would have realized that there was no one here for VP. He could have just backed away if he wanted to.
Rough. Very rough as the crow flies. We'll see here. They're on the reposition from VP. They have kind of completely swapped it around, you know, lurking presence on A to begin with. Now just a lurking presence on towards B. Flash at ramp. Oh, and they have baited them out a little bit here, of course. The rotation's pretty thick and fast from INDE IRAE. We do have the push-up, going to get the catch onto X5, but the attack itself coming in towards A. Looking good to begin with, but trading things out quickly. It's down to Buster on low HP and James with the AWP. Buster finds one around the smoke, but he's caught out in the open reloading. And now it is just James to clutch up against 2. Definitely doable here for the big man. Oh, will ring off a little early. And of course, there's this flank coming in. However, has he heard it? No, I don't think so. Definitely will now. Oh, dinked out. Finds the first. The spam coming in from Frisk. Takes his time, but he will get it done. The method is a bit mad, but it works.
Yeah, a win is a win. Obviously, it's a close one. Unfortunately, with only one player left standing, though, which is not ideal when they have to now come back in and manage to actually replicate that performance and chain together a couple of round wins. But at least the ops recovered. That'll be given back over to Davcost. Weapons in terms of rifles will mostly be there. Flowing's limited to an MP9, but probably for the best, so they have at least a small few nades behind this investment as well. And Frisk has got the kit for them, thankfully. So it's an okay investment, but it's not ideal. It's a little bit weaker even than what they had before to now ensure that they can actually get going with this comeback. Because, I mean, despite getting that previous round, it really won't mean very much at all unless they can get the second now off the back of it and really get going. Because losing this one would just pretty much put them on the brink of destruction. They would have nothing to fight for in overtime themselves.
Those are not words that you want to be hearing, right? This starts to look incredibly frightening on both sides of the equation. Oh man, a matchup that I think does hold a lot of weight within this Group B. VP, they're trying their best to edge it out, but it is, you know, as they're coming to the closeout portions where things are becoming very difficult, INDE IRAE are digging deep, finding that extra level, that second wind, as we would say. Much slower round here, though, Dean, as I've been able to set it up a little bit. VP, what can they get done? You know, absolutely, as you've said, danger time for both teams. So, VP, I think, not wanting to mess around, not taking any chances with one of the slower rounds we've seen so far in this second half.
Saying something, we've had a few slow ones. The straight up execute onto A, and well, already actually trying to move before the smokes and such go down. Railway's gotten himself a very quick opening, as Davcost actually watching the angle beside him as well, up close on the smoke rather. But interestingly, that leaves them open to James in the end, so suddenly it's a 3-on-3 once again, but they just want the fight. It's the bomb. They take the fight up close on the stairs with the bomb. It goes forward into the control of the CTs, meaning it's just got to be the kills now that come true, and James has barely any health left. He didn't have the time either, and the nade is going to be there to finish him off. Frisk again just about puts them over the line there, winning out the one-on-one and taking INDE IRAE up to 12. And as I said, finally destroying that economy for VP. It'll have to be one full eco, and then if INDE IRAE can take one more gun round, depending on whether the bomb goes down or not, they could either be going 14-14 or maybe even up to map point.
Heart's going to start racing now on that VP side, man. They know the scary, scary time that they find themselves in. This is really not looking too good. Oh, my goodness. And it will come down to the one round that could decide it all. Burst in for Railway. Making it look easy. Of course, they've got a few deagles in, so it's nice to drop one. I believe Dicker had a deagle himself. While the other player is Yakindar, also got armor, but no match for X5. Buster picks up his deag. Buster drops pretty quickly after the fact, so looking good. Bit of damage onto X5, but yeah, it should be fine. James, the only one left here. against 5. Not a chance, so they say. Davkos needs to be a bit careful, but he gets the support. He was just creating space. Number 13 secured. No skin off their back for that. Round number 28, though, this could be it. Like I say, this could be the game that decides the round that decides the game, sorry.
Definitely could be. I mean, Flowing, I think he just, at this stage, is MP9 by choice almost. He loves just sticking to that weapon. I think he's had that more than he's had the M4 so far. Had a few Mac 10s as well back on his T side, so he's the SMG player, it seems. He's the one that always sacrificed down. But VP, I mean, despite this being a buy for them right now, it's really not too great. There's a Galil in there onto Sanji. There's at least a decent amount of nades behind it. They're lacking the up, which has also been pretty impactful for them when James has been able to pull it through. An opportunity for INDE IRAE. If they get this one, then VP really won't have anything to fight for the following round and would likely have to just concede map point. Again, with this being just the best of ones, there really is so much on the line. INDE IRAE are in third position currently in the group. Winning this one, I think potentially could move them up depending on how Gambit's games go as well. And on how, I suppose, the final match I believe that VP have to come as well goes. Another very slow round, Scriv.
It's an important one, it really is. Both the round and the game.
The tension.
Yeah. I think that's what's creating some of the issues, especially for VP. They have been a little slower moving and not quite hitting their shots, you know, looking indeed tense. And as it is, the cortisol, that stress hormone through the veins, it can make your muscles a little bit tight. And of course, that's going to have an effect. Kindar, though, probably the coolest headed player in the game, will manage to find the opener. James getting aggressive, spotted out by X5. Interpret also finding a trade in, not looking good as it's all left down to Buster. Where's it gone? The VP magic has fallen apart. Davkos gets the easiest frag of the round, and that will be the 14-14. No cash for VP. Are you kidding? How did we get here? How did we get here?
Uh-oh.
And it looks like overtime the best they're going to hope for, right? Because they're just going for a bit of a half buy.
Yeah, I mean, again, remember, I think it's 63% of the rounds that VP win on their CT side. So, it shouldn't be incredibly shocking to us right now. But you'd still think with just the caliber of team that they are, that they'd be able to handle this with the lead that they had as well. It was 14-10 at one point. But at one point, they've been even 10-5 at the halftime. So they've had many leads so far. But at the moment, it looks like they could be on the brink of defeat. Small investment into this round to give a small chance. But the main focus, of course, being into the next one to try and, as you were saying, try and fight for the overtime. They've moved pretty quickly into B, though. Haven't actually been stopped and haven't lost any players moving out of the apartments themselves. Unfortunately, though, they're not going to get much further than that. One kill so far. Damn, Buster's actually gotten himself two from the van. Hasn't even taken any damage as of yet. Tries to swing in towards short. Unfortunately, doesn't get the shot off, but a bomb plant would be fantastic. As you can see, though, a player at the back of the bomb site now is going to be in a pretty good position to make sure that that won't happen.
Rough. Very rough indeed. Got the tag onto Florian. Another kill would have been absolutely fantastic and might have created space for the bomb plant. Not going to happen. INDE IRAE as expected. Find number 15. And VP. Well, are we going to overtime? That's the question they've got to answer here. All 30 rounds required. Definitely a hell of a lot closer than I expected, than you expected, than probably the fans at home. Hello there. We do know you exist. Very, very, very scary stuff so far. INDE IRAE in a good way, I think, if you're a fan of this team, if you're a fan of these players. Oh, Davkos. I'm 30. Dangerous peak, bro, but he gets it done. Oh, and Florian going to help him. It looks like maybe even the 16-14, the overtime. Escaping, slipping through the fingers of VP with two early openers.
Yeah, it is crumbling away from them. It's Kickard and Sanji who they lose as well in those opening seconds. Not even opening moments. The round had barely begun, and Davkos. An easy shot there for him indeed as Yekin there steps into connector. A shotgun with a scope. That's what it was. It's Buster and James. Backs against the wall. Everything you can think of right now, really, that can be said is working against them. And a real positive being that they have a few nades at least to toss in towards this bomb site. But they're not even in positions to trade off of each other, as you can see. It's just X5 who gets the 1-for-1 again in towards connector. And Scriv, not a single point of damage has been done in this round by VP. That's how kind of dominant this comeback, this stretch of 6 rounds towards the end has actually been for INDE IRAE. It is just too much for them to handle, and there you go indeed.